Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Lucky Wolf, and today I want to talk a little bit about Pokémon Champions, which is a game that was revealed on Pokemon Day during the Pokemon Presents. I did do a react video, so there is a video of just kind of my first thoughts. I will link in the description if you do want to check that out. But this is, I do have notes. I have notes, so I wrote some stuff down, and I really just kind of want to talk about what we do know about Champions, but I also want to do some speculating, some light speculating, perhaps, and please feel free to let me know what you think in the comments down below. So without further ado, let's get into it. So as it was revealed to us in the Pokemon Presents trailer, Pokémon Champions is going to be some sort of battle game, its own game that will be compatible on the Switch. It will have a Switch version, but it will also have a mobile version as well. Kind of similar to something like Unite, where we do see there's a Switch version and then there is a mobile version as well. And what we do see in this game, it says, this new battle-focused game will feature familiar mechanics such as Pokemon types, abilities, and moves. So the one thing I will say is items are not mentioned there. However, if we do a little scroll, we do see here, can you see my mouse? You certainly cannot. Now you can. We do see a Mega Charizard X, and if I'm not mistaken, in order for a Pokemon to Mega Evolve, they do have to be holding the specific Mega Stone for that Pokemon, that specific item. But I think the very, very cool thing here is we see both a Mega and a Terra Pokemon absolutely going at it. So, from what we can see, we will have access to multiple generational gimmicks, if that makes sense. So the two that we don't immediately see here, one would be Dynamax slash Gigantamax, but I'm just going to kind of lump those two things into saying Dynamax just for the purposes of the rest of this video. And then we do have Z moves. And so here's the kind of interesting thing about both Z moves and about Mega Evolution is both of those generational gimmicks do need your item, because you have to hold the Z move item, and then you also have to hold the Mega item as well. Whereas Terra and Gigantamax slash Dynamax, no item required. No item required. Any Pokemon can go for it at any point in battle, but won a battle. So I think that just kind of brings us to what these rule sets are gonna look like. I think, is there a possibility maybe we get a rule set something similar to 2019? And 2019 had 3 rule sets for the full season, and each rule set kind of built on the previous one, which I absolutely loved. I can't remember all of them exactly, but we had Sun and Ultra, and so the final rule set was that you could use Z moves and you could use Megas as well. And so I think that there's a possibility that we have maybe some rotating rule set like that, but I do wonder if VGC is going in what I would assume to be the 2026 season, so that would be after Worlds this year. Is there a possibility? Is there a possibility that we move to Pokemon Champions? And I think I kind of hope so, only so that VGC can kind of have something new. We have been, this right now is the 3rd year of Scarlet and Violet, right? And it does feel a little bit like it's coming to the end of its kind of life, right? Playing on it for 3 years, having Terra for 3 years, we had different formats in the beginning, but now already going back to Reg G, and then presumably we will move on to Reg I don't know, double restricted probably through Worlds, I would think. But then after that, what are we going to see? And so I do think there is a real possibility that we could move to Pokemon Champions sometime after Worlds. However, we never got a release date, right? We did not get a release date at all for Pokemon Champions. Additionally, it kind of depends what models? I don't, is that even the word the right word to use? I'm not very good with technology stuff, so I'm gonna attempt to say what I mean here. But I think the big question would be, are they going to, like, what models are gonna get reused? What move animations are gonna get reused? Are they gonna go through and redo all of that? Because if so, we could be looking at a much longer release, like a further away release date, I would think. But I do, even thinking about that, I do just want to say, like, I am very excited about Champions. I am very, very excited about Champions. Just kind of seeing a game, whether officially we move to Champions or not. I love VGC. VGC was the aspect of Pokemon that I absolutely fell in love with, and there are so many ways to enjoy Pokemon. But VGC was the aspect of Pokemon I fell in love with, and that I still love. And so seeing the game grow in the last couple years has been absolutely beautiful, and then seeing the possibility that VGC could have its own game, again, nothing confirmed, nothing confirmed, but just the possibility that there is a game focused on doubles battling, it excites me. It makes me really, really happy. And oh my gosh, when I streamed after watching the presents and we were talking about it, I legitimately could not stop smiling. I'm cautiously optimistic, and I am very, very much excited for what Champions can bring. And I think that, like, so I'm just looking down, don't mind me, I am looking down because I did, like I said, notes. But I do wonder if, we would also have the ability, I do wonder if we would have the ability as well, to work with different rule sets. Like, to make our own kind of custom rule sets. Like, one of the big, in Sword and Shield, there was a rule set called Spooky Cup. And I loved Spooky Cup. It was just like it sounds, but it was doubles battles, and there was a list of Pokemon that were allowed, and they were all, relatively Halloween-y, relatively spooky Pokemon. And I loved that rule set. I thought that rule set was so fun. It, like, brought me life. I hosted my own charity Spooky Cup tour, back in Sword and Shield, and it's like, I do legitimately absolutely love kind of different rule sets like that. When they had VGC 2013 on Showdown in as a ladder that you could play in January, I did play a bit of that. Like, just, I love VGC, but just getting a different rule set, it was just, it really brought me life. Like, it was really fun to switch things up. It really, really brought me life. You could sport grass types back in 2013. Like, it was a wild time. It was an absolutely wild time, but it was really, really fun. So I do hope that with a game specifically for, I don't even know if I want to say VGC, but clearly specifically for doubles battles, as all we see here are doubles battles, the possibility of being able to have custom rule sets or have different rule sets that maybe they would host tournaments for on certain weekends, kind of like they do in, like they did in Sword and Shield, like they do in Scarlet and Violet. I think that is also a really exciting premise as well. And I do want to talk a little bit about kind of how, again, this is not 100% what it's going to look like, but what the field does look like. It kind of reminds me of Sword and Shield, where it looks like we're in a stadium, right? Like, you can see the bleachers there, here's the stadium, where it does look like we're in a stadium, and it does look like the Pokemon possibly are spaced out a little bit better, so it's not like, oops, you put Roaring Moon on the right side of the screen, be prepared to see no other Pokemon on the screen, So that is very, very exciting as well. And so the whole idea that maybe we could get VGC on Champions is very, very exciting as well. I think we also know that it is compatible with Home. You can have Home. You can have Home on your phone. And it is compatible with Home as well. So I think one of my big questions is, what is it going to be like to train Pokemon, right? Like, if I want to change the EV spread, let's say, of my Aegislash. Also, Aegislash, good to see ya, pal. Good to see ya. It's been a minute. Aegislash was on my first ever VGC team that I built with Sylveon, with Clefairy, and with Mega Salamence. So I have a very, very soft spot in my heart for the Aegislash. I named my Aegislash Needle after Arya Stark's sword. It was a whole thing. I love my Aegislash, but so let's say I want to change the EV spread on my Aegislash, right? Will I have to I almost said transplant. No. Will I have to transport my Aegislash back to home, back to whatever game, to then re-EV it, then bring it back into Champions? So, like, there are definitely questions I do have about how exactly some of the logistics are gonna work, but again, like I said, I would say I am cautiously optimistic about what Champions is going to be. I think that I think mostly in the presents, I was very surprised we got Champions. Like, I figured we were gonna get Zanus, I figured we were gonna get some other stuff. I thought maybe with Zanus, they would do some sort of announcement that maybe we were getting, you know, because we have Legend Za, that Scarlet and Violet would be compatible with Legend Za, and it's like, you know, maybe we would be getting Xerneas, maybe we would be getting Yveltal back, and some other Pokemon that we could use, and we didn't get that. So I think the fact that we didn't get any of that information, as well as we got the Champions announcement, there is a real possibility that they are going to be moving, just because, like I said, Scarlet and Violet feels like it's really at kind of like the end of its cycle right now. And again, I assume we'll get double restricted, and it will be double restricted for Worlds, but then what? You know, I feel like that is like how it will progress, and that's how the series will end. That's how the battle series will end for Scarlet and Violet. And I think another reason, at least I have seen people be very excited about Champions. I think another reason people are very excited about Champions is, like I said, Scarlet and Violet is definitely feeling, you know, it can feel a little stale. Like, I know it felt stale to go back to Reg G, and I actually have been liking Reg G Part 2 much more than I thought I had. I have been liking it much more than I thought I had, but I think the idea that competitive doubles, that VGC could have its own game, and that the game could be that you can play on your phone, like it's more accessible as well. I think that's just a very exciting premise for a lot of people. I think that's pretty much what I wanted to cover with Pokémon Champions being announced in the Pokémon Presents. Honestly, maybe I am too excited. I feel like I might be too excited, and maybe I'm not being realistic. But I just can't contain my excitement right now. So I hope y'all enjoyed the little yap sesh, and before I go, I will leave you with a thought. G-Max Charizard. In the sun. With beads of ruined Chi-Yu on the field. I don't know if anything will live, and if anything can live, then it's just gonna get KO'd to the damage over time from the G-Max Wildfire. Honestly, I'm really excited. I'm excited to get some Pokemon back that we haven't played with in a while. I'm excited to get Megas as well. Haven't played with a Mega in an absolute minute. So while they are not my personal favorite of the generational gimmicks, I'm still just excited for something new, for something different. This just feels like such a breath of fresh air, or possibly a breath of fresh air for VGC, and I am all for it. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you did enjoy this content at any time, please feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. If not, feel free to do exactly none of that, and I hope everybody has an absolutely amazing rest of their day. Okay, that's it from me. Bye!